Hi everyone. So, concerned with facts instead of fiction, the definition of documentary has evolved since the advent of its genre in the late 19th century. As a representation of real life, documentary relies on being able to convey an impression of authenticity with claims to truthfulness. Often expected to subvert conventions, challenge viewers, and provoke debate, each filmmaker's approach is uniquely different. This presentation will analyze how Shou Schlam and Hila Medalia's Single in China delves into content of contemporary and cultural significance, applying a blend of observational and expository modes as well as distinct style to create meaning. This short-form documentary effectively builds a relationship between the text, the reality it represents, and its intended audience. Single in China is an excerpt from Schlam and Medalia's 2019 documentary Leftover Women, which explores the impact of the term "shengnu" used to describe and criticize single women in their late 20s and early 30s. The documentary addresses cultural attitudes towards a woman's role, highlighting the way educated women in China are forced to choose marriage over a career and the pressure they face from their families, the government, and society at large to find a husband. The narrative of this documentary focuses on a story and experiences of Chiu Huamei, a 30-year-old lawyer looking for a partner that is well-educated and respects women. She visits a matchmaking agency, goes on unsuccessful dates and marriage markets, and continues to meet men uninterested in romance who insist on being dominant in their relationships. She is told she is not beautiful, too old, and that her standards are too high every step of the way. Finally, a visit to her family home reveals her parents and sisters are worried for her future as a leftover woman and are unsupportive of her decision to stay single. This narrative is powerful and helps audiences connect with Huamei's character. Through her story, the film seeks to create awareness and encourage discussion about this real experience for Chinese women. The communication of the message that there is nothing wrong with these women, but rather the circumstances and beliefs of the society they live in, relies not just on the content of the film, but on the way the story is told. Modes are a framework for documentary text that shape conventions and viewer expectations. Single in China is arguably constructed as expository rather than observational, yet uses elements of both. Observational documentaries follow the lived experience of their subjects with a fly-on-the-wall approach, sacrificing staging, composition, interviews, or reenactments in favor of spontaneity without performativity or intervention. On the other hand, expository advances an argument, often with staged interviews and addressing the viewer with titles and narration that embodies logic and objectivity where the images serve a supporting role. This text has a clear argument. It is not Huamei's fault that she is single, but rather China's toxic mentality that she should sacrifice her career and settle for less. It incorporates Huamei's voice narration, which is different, and titles to explain one-child policy and its impact on gender inequality in modern-day China. Most importantly, images such as B-roll of her office, her running shoes, or the marriage markets are used in sequential, evidential, and supportive manner to further the argument and the story and showcase the sexism prevalent in China. This modern take on expository modes allows viewers more freedom to reach their own conclusions about the topic presented. Contrastingly, the camera follows Huamei when she goes on dates, making the audience feel as if they are in the same room, observing and overhearing their conversation. It uses synchronous sound when people in the film speak to each other without music and adheres to strict lack of intervention of the filmmaker's part, especially when Huamei is berated by her family, firmly positioning the audience as a spectator and engendering feelings of frustration and hopelessness, helping us empathize with her situation and promoting her story as undeniably real. Schlam and Medalia have a distinctly feminist approach to the film's visual and formal style, creatively using mise-en-scène such as contrast lighting, montage, close-ups of the protagonist's face, and music to manipulate the emotional feel of the text. Even though filmmakers do not ask Huamei how she is feeling, audiences are able to clearly read her expression and infer her emotions. Furthermore, despite its lack of overt symbolism, the editing serves as a similar purpose with inclusion of Huamei playing with her nephew and her family dinner, effectively foregrounding the argument with her parents and serving as a subtle reminder that she is unmarried and does not have a family yet. Ultimately, the combination of techniques, visual style, and narrative boosts audience engagement and encourages viewers to reflect and challenge the discrimination and sexism women in China face. Not only does this create meaning for viewers, but allows Single in China and Leftover Women to become engaging and impactful feminist texts. Thank you for your time.